Have you ever tried to explain your pain and feelings to a narcissist, only to have them respond with something like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're overreacting"? It's like no matter how much you try to share, they just don't seem to care. Yet, at other times, they say or do kind things, leaving you utterly confused to either care about you or not. But why? Let's dive into what's going on. To understand this, we first need to talk about empathy. Empathy is what allows someone to grasp what another person is experiencing, which helps that person to care about other people's feelings and emotions. But there are actually two types of empathy: cognitive empathy and emotional empathy. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand what someone else is feeling. It's an intellectual awareness of another person's emotions. For example, imagine you tell someone that your pet has died. A person with cognitive empathy will recognize that some people form deep attachments to their pets, and that losing a pet can be a painful experience for a person. So they understand that you are hurt, and that they are supposed to act supportive and comfort you. But they don't feel anything inside. To them, it's like you just told them the sky is cloudy. It's an observation, not an emotional experience. Emotional empathy is the ability to actually feel what someone else is feeling. This happens because of special brain cells called mirror neurons. When these neurons are activated, they make you experience the emotions of a person you're watching. It's like your brain mirrors their feelings inside you. Normally, when you feel an emotion, your brain sends signals to your facial muscles to show to others what you're feeling. For example, if you're sad, your brain makes you frown. But with emotional empathy, this process can work in reverse. When you see someone else in pain, even if they don't say anything, your brain picks up on their tiny facial expressions and body language. Without realizing it, you start to copy their expressions, like frowning when they frown. When your face makes these small movements, your mirror neurons fire off signals to your brain. These signals tell your brain, this is what sadness feels like. So you actually start to feel sad yourself. That's why you might tear up when you see someone else crying, even if you don't know why they're upset, or why you feel warm and happy when you see someone else smiling with joy. Your brain is wired to connect to others by feeling what they feel. And this is where things start to make sense. Narcissists do have cognitive empathy. This means they can recognize when you're upset and even predict how you will react. But because they lack emotional empathy, they don't actually feel your pain. This happens because their mirror neurons, those special brain cells that make you feel what others feel, never fully developed when they were young, or their narcissism caused them to become severely undeveloped over time. Narcissists struggle to handle their own emotions, so they create a false image of themselves to feel important and avoid feeling insecure. But this defense mechanism also affects how they process other people's emotions. From a young age, their brain learned to block out negative emotions, both their own and those of others. This was a way to protect themselves from feeling pain. Because of this, their mirror neurons don't work the same as other people's. Even if they do start to feel your pain, their brain automatically shuts off the signal before they're even aware of it. It's like a switch flips in their mind the moment they see you hurting. They don't choose to block your emotions. It just happens automatically. This changes everything. Because if someone doesn't feel your pain, they aren't going to be motivated to stop hurting you. Emotional empathy is meant so we can form closer bonds, but also to have us cooperate with each other. Even thinking of doing a harmful action to another causes the mirror neurons to fire, and a healthy person will feel the pain they are about to inflict on another person. So it helps prevent people harming others. But if you don't feel anything when you think about harming another person, there is little to stop you from harming someone, especially if you don't care about the consequences or feel your needs are more important. Even if you understand you're about to or have harmed another person, not feeling anything will cause a person to downplay the harm they caused in an attempt to avoid feeling any negative emotions for their actions. But that's not all. There's another key factor that explains why narcissists act the way they do: entitlement. Narcissists believe they are special and thus their needs come first. It's part of their defense mechanism to avoid their insecurities. They tell themselves that they are so special that no one will ever abandon or reject them. And if anyone rejects or abandons them, then it is because that person envies them or are so clueless they cannot see the narcissist's greatness. It's to protect their fragile ego from being rejected. But due to this entitled thinking, they believe their needs always come first. So even if they know they've hurt you, they feel justified. In their mind, their desires, their comfort, and their emotions are simply more important than yours. The result is that if your emotions or pain inconvenience them, they'll dismiss or mock you. They may get angry at you for the inconvenience or making them feel as if they need to do something. However, if they can use your pain to make themselves look like the hero, they'll suddenly seem supportive, but not because they want to help you. It's about boosting their image. They may brag to everyone about how much it is costing them to visit you in hospital, or how they have to go out of their way to comfort you. If, however, your feelings threaten their control, they'll gaslight you into believing your emotions are invalid. They will make you think you are overreacting and make you feel guilty for feeling the way you do, so that you do not hold them accountable for their actions and so they do not need to change. They make it out as if their behavior is not the problem. Your reaction to their behavior is the problem, no matter how abusive they are. For instance, when you say, "That really hurt me," they may reply with, "Well, you shouldn't have taken it that way." Or, "It's always about you and how you feel." This is why trying to appeal to a narcissist's compassion can feel so frustrating. You keep hoping they'll finally see your side. You think, if I could just explain it better, if I could make them understand, then they would care. But they do understand. It's not a communication issue or them not getting that they are hurting you. They just don't care enough about you to change their behavior. If someone really cared about you and really loved you, you would not need to beg them to change. You would not even need to ask them to change. The moment they realize they hurt you the first time, they would change so that it never happened again. But in a narcissist's mind, their own needs always come first. Their entitlement tells them that they deserve to be prioritized. Your feelings are secondary. Even if they know they've hurt you, they'll justify it to themselves with thoughts like, "I had to do what was best for me," or "I'm doing them a favor by making them strong." They may even think you should apologize for making a big deal out of it, and that they are helping you become stronger and seeing that the world are full of bad people. So you should be grateful for them enduring the pain of hurting you. That's why narcissists act confusingly. One moment they seem to care, and the next they don't. It's because they only act out of self-interest. If they think they can get something from you, and acting like they care won't inconvenience them, they'll act supportive. But most of the time, your pain is an inconvenience to them. And when they don't feel like they'll benefit from acting supportive, or it feels like too much trouble, they just don't. They may even act rude or get angry about you being sad because it makes them feel like they have to do something they're not in the mood for. Another thing is that if an issue comes up where they don't realize they should act supportive, they may act strangely because they don't feel your pain. This often happens when they misread the situation or did not pay enough attention to what you were saying. They may laugh when you share your pain or totally dismiss it. And when you call them out and they realize they misread the situation, they'll come up with all kinds of excuses, like saying, "Oh, I thought your pest died, not your pet, to cover their mistake. But there's something darker driving the narcissist not to care, even if they realize they are hurting you, and that's power and control. If they can convince you that you're overreacting, they don't have to take accountability. And dismissing your feelings makes them feel powerful, like they're above your emotions. In addition, if they acknowledge your pain, they might have to face their own flaws, and that's something they won't do. They refuse to accept they have flaws. So, what do you do when you're dealing with a narcissist who constantly dismisses your emotions? The key is to stop seeking empathy where it doesn't exist. Instead of hoping they'll finally change, focus on protecting yourself. Stop explaining, stop justifying, and stop expecting them to be someone they're not. If they have consistently shown they are uncaring, then that is just who they are. You're not going to expect a shark not to eat you when you are in the ocean. That's what sharks do. And this is how narcissists are. This is how their brains are wired. Rather, support yourself with people who actually care about you. Friends, therapists, and support groups. Because here's the truth. You deserve to be around people who validate your feelings, who make you feel safe. People who you don't need to convince to care about you. Know that some narcissists feel so little for others that they will drive you to the brink of self-destruction. See this video to learn about how a narcissist can drive you to suicide. Thank you for watching.